kind of funny hiss going on.
Yeah,
like it's
hiss
overdriven.
when you talk loud. Yeah.
Good evening, my friends. How are you guys doing? Welcome to the stream and thank you for joining. I literally just spawned in here and I had a quick chat with the guys in Discord. But I'm ready. I've got two requests. One from last night about the fixed rings. So I'm going to try and remember it tonight. And then I've got the one for a delayed descent, that the aircraft does not descend immediately. You know, to simulate basically the ATC giving you a delayed descent, okay? So for that, I need to tell you I'm using a VNAV common or common VNAV, however you want to pronounce it. All right, it's the common one, the new one that they started implementing now. On the Maxes and then coming backwards to the NGs. It's the same one that you'll find on the 757s and the other aircraft and so on. So there's a whole story behind that. Doesn't matter. We're using VNAV comments. In essence, what it's going to mean is if we miss the top of the descent, the aircraft will build a parallel descent VNAV descent profile. And it's up to us then to either increase our speed or to pull the speed brake to then, manipulate the descent rate so that we can actually catch up. Okay, so that's basically in layman's terms quickly what it's all about. Okay. The fixed rings, I think it was UVP, you were the same person asking about the fixed rings, so just remind me tonight that we do them, all right? The other question was also yours, so we're going to see what we can do there. Then, before we get too deep into everything, let's just get some power in the aircraft quickly. For Josh and anybody else that wants to learn how to fly this aircraft, there's something we don't really show enough, and I just feel if I go back to Discord later, I'll tag him in this video. So specifically for the new flyers, I want you guys to pay attention. Obviously, it's highly recommended you read the Zibo install guide and then you read the EFB guide. Okay, the Zibo install guide tells you where to put it, why, and so on, to do it proper, to set it up proper. The EFB guide teaches you this, okay? And one of the things that's going to really help you is this flight director helper. If this flight director helper is on, I will show you on the flight director, it's going to flash in a yellow/magenta color. And basically what it says is, follow me. All right. And the same goes for the horizontal bar as well. So whether you do the localizer or the upright or the horizontal, doesn't matter. The bar that's out of sync, that goes to a place where the autopilot cannot establish a connection, that thing will help you. Okay, so that's one of the settings. All right. Then the other thing that we are looking for is it's also in visual effects, it's the 3D arrow helper that must be set to show, right? And then one last thing, where will it be? Realism, I suppose. Yes, the autopilot yoke neutral tolerance, okay? If you're new, go set that thing to simply, all right? That means that the area is larger where you can actually activate the autopilot. So it's just going to make it easier for you to learn how to fly this aircraft. Okay. Now with all of those things enabled, here's a checklist. Okay. People often forget about this one, and this is very, very good for new guys, especially with those arrows, right? So if we go and work through this, as you can see, the battery switch is now flashing. That's the first thing we need to do. See, there's an arrow. Okay, and the arrow, obviously I've clicked it already, so we can say yes, that's done. The GPU, I've already clicked it. I'm just going to click it for good measure to make sure it's running. Okay, if you want the APU, it's not, you don't have to run both at the same time, obviously. You can't have both on the bus anyway. But you can decide whether you want that one or, you know, the ground power or your APU. And it shows you where they are. So when you're done with them, you click. See, and so it will move on and it will take you. That's your IRSs that needs to be aligned now. All right, so if you go through all of this, I don't think it can be made any easier for anybody to learn the aircraft. I've done my best with normal tutorials, you know, skipping this part. But I just thought, I'll switch it off now. I'm not going to follow it myself now. It's not, there you go, it's off. Okay, it's not what we're going to do. But I just wanted to mention it to the new guys. There's so many facilities available, and then obviously my training checklist. I mean, that's not really a checklist. That is a to-do list. The step 1, step 2, step 3, and you get that from the org. You know, you guys can go grab that as well. And it tells you a lot of information, including the fixings, including what you need to do if you have a strong crosswind, you know, with gusts and all those kind of things, how to calculate all the various different levels, you know, in your FMC for what you need to do there. So those were the introduction thingies. This is now Zibo Mod 7a. I need to see I actually updated it correctly. Yes. Okay, so Zibo says he tweaked just small little bugs, but the main thing of this version is the slowdown before top-off descent. Okay. So I did pin it here in the comments, and you guys can have a look at that. Right, so let me start saying hello, which I should have done in the first place. You know, I said hello collectively, but Piotr, welcome. UVP, nice to see you here. Rob and Steve, guys, I can see your names already. All the other guys have remained upstairs in Discord, so I'm sitting here all alone. If you guys want to join me, you're welcome. Let me also just start my stream. In actual fact, no, because there's nowhere. I'm not going to waste resources. Right. So if you guys have any other questions or stuff, you know how it works. You throw it in there. I'm literally just now going to fly and see what the aircraft does. Okay, as usual, Zibo will look at it. He will evaluate it. He will see if he's happy or not. That's not for me to say. Okay. One more thing. I want to look at the cutback. Remember last night we looked at noise abatement procedure 1 and 2, and we didn't look at the cutback because Sasso said his operator that he flies for does not have it. I haven't had time to go back and look for it, but I've got a kind of a feeling that thing is like a template that's already set up for noise abatement number 2. No, it must be number 1. Okay, because we did number 2 first, so that must be the number 1. It's the one where you will get your acceleration at 3,000 feet. Okay, so that should be number 1. Okay, so we're going to just look at a couple of things as we continue. Okay, and that's it. Let's get going. Hope you guys had a good day and all is well. In the real world now. Welcome to the virtual world. Hello, Jacob. Just want to confirm I've got the right one. Yeah, 6. Yes. All right. Get my bearings.
Disconnected and starting refueling.
All right, another thing. the KMSY that we are flying to Louis Armstrong, New Orleans. I got that from Vertical Sim last night. He released some more X-Plane 12 scenery. So I got the Ontario in California and this one last night. So if you guys want to support Andrew, please go ahead, please do that. We'll have a look at the scenery when we get there. The scenery I'm at now, I bought from Orbex. So these are all add-on sceneries, okay? If you want to stream on Discord, you must ask. Yeah. Yes, thank you, Piotr. Right. Okay, that I'm just talking to Josh. I told him to go look at the beginning of the stream. So anyway, that's also done. Let's see. We need to push back. I'm not exactly sure where to push back in the American scenery. Sometimes they give you this big lip, and I always get the idea this is where you should push back to, because that's the line, all right? So I'm not sure. Let's go to the line because we're dumb. Yeah, we'll find out. Somebody will tell us.
Now the cockpit, plan acknowledged. Call us to the menu when you're ready to go.
Okay, guys, another thing. I need your help with the audio. I did adjust my audio. I went back and I listened to last night's stream. My audio is very low compared to Sasso's. So I did change the two settings around that my audio should be a little bit higher because his audio was very loud. And I don't know if it's for everybody, you know, everybody on Discord. But when people talk here, please give me some indication who's the louder one, who needs to tone up or tone down a little bit, you know, in terms of volume. So please remember, I just need a bit of feedback on that. Right. Hey, Louise. Thank you. Piotr, you guys must just listen out for it, because also there's a huge difference between the sound used in the Zibo mod versus the level up. Okay, so in the level up, you really should push the external sounds a bit more if you want to hear the engines. But I haven't found my balance really there, so I'm hoping we're still in balance with the Zibo, because I kind of have to reconfigure it every time, you know. So anyway, you guys feel free, shout when it's wrong either way, and then we fix it. Just want to zoom out a little bit. Oh, that's drawn it nicely. There's a huge jump in the flight plan when you look at the actual planning.
Captain, we are freezing in the cabin.
Oh, I forgot about you again. Okay, so if you look at the actual Mike Charlie Bravo over there in this Lima Sierra uniform, that's actually a huge jump, because there's, you know, there's nothing in between. And I must say, it actually seems to have drawn it nicely. It's funny to have to come around the HGS the whole time. RJ Bailey, no, I haven't. I focused on the 800, the 700, and Zibo's given me more work to do on the 800 now. We seem to have found a little bug in the 700, and we need to make sure it's not in the 800, and then Zibo needs to balance them out and things like that. So I'm kind of preoccupied just with those two. Alan, the pilot who makes the flight model, obviously, he's flown it, but I just haven't, not yet. Piotr, you're welcome to try and replace, eh? Tara, I'm sure you're going to help me look out for that. Welcome anyway. Good evening, Daniel. Daniel, I don't know. I don't use XPilot. I've used it before, you know, in the old days, but not recently. So I'm not sure, you know, what would constitute it, what you need to look out for. What you need to look out for is that these buttons are highlighted. You see they change color, so now they're off. When they're bright, they are obviously they're on. In IBUFY, I cannot set my volume in the client. I have to set it here on the pedestal. So you might want to just check the pedestal. Maybe they've got a preset that kills the sound on the pedestal, you know. So you're going to have to come and wiggle these little knobs to see if you can hear anything. I don't know. Anybody else? I don't know what he said. Anybody else flying on WhatsApp is welcome to answer him. I don't know. How's it, Josh? We can talk about the autosave, yes. We can do that just now. Josh, if you are the same Josh from Discord, you need to watch the beginning of the stream as well. If you're not the same Josh, then you're very fortunate to have the same name. I hope the other guy then comes, but we'll see. Okay, so let's quickly just do the setup and then we can start talking about that other thing. The autosave. Oh, let me first check if we're done loading. Wrong button. Yes, we are done loading. I can complete this thing. Yeah, it's supposed to remember everything where you were, but it all depends on, you know, when, where, how it was saved, I suppose. We'll check now. That's also one thing we still need to fix in the level up. It's not working in the level up. It's kind of working, but it's wonky as heck. Right, okay. Right. We have water, so somewhere along the line we had wetness. So we might as well go set it to wet. We'll redo the V-speeds. Okay, so last night we started with NADP 2. And you can see this aircraft is by default configured for noise abatement procedure 2. If we go to 3000, that becomes noise abatement number 1 in the acceleration altitude over there. So let's have a look at this cutback. I think that's what it does anyway. So let's have a look, see. So it tells us our reduction happens at 800, so we can change that. So this is now reading off the template, so we can change that if we want to 1000. But there you'll see, right, it's going to we can actually have a look at it, because the way I read it is that's where it should start. That's where the reduction should be down to 81.2. So at 800 foot AGL, it's going to start to go down to 81.2, and by 1000, that's the end of the acceleration, and that gives us that. And then the restoration, going back to climb thrust, happens at 3000. Let's run it. Let's see what happens. So we got to look at 800, 1000, and 3000 and see what happened. Yeah, Josh, I'm going to talk you through it in a second. EO is engine out, acceleration height. Okay, engine out, acceleration height. That makes sense. Sorry, Teropa, thank you for correcting me. Hello, Tex. Yeah, thank you for that. You're correct. You're 100% correct. I had to think about that a little bit. So it's engine out, acceleration height. That was the one that he had at 1,500 for Dublin. Okay, so I mean, let's go. See if we can change that. Yes, we can change that. 1,500. I'm just using yesterday's figures. Thank you, Tero. And then obviously engine out, acceleration out. Perfect. Makes 100% sense. I just need to remember. Then that's the restoration is at 3,000. There we go. Okay. So we've set it very similar to what we had yesterday. The difference is we're only going to accelerate at 3000. So it's going to be a very lazy one, like noise abatement number 1. I think that's basically it anyway. All right, so let's talk about this autosave story. So if you go to the save and load configuration, load and save flight, you can save flight manually. There are 8 positions, right? So this is the one I typically use, just when I do test flying, because I can set up a profile, go back to it very quickly. All right. Then let's quickly go find this thing in, I think it's in realism, page 2. Yes, realism settings, page 2 is autosave. So my one is set to 5 minutes. All right. You can set it to 1 minute or 15 minutes, or you can leave it off. All right. So typically what I think, Josh, what happened with you is it might be on 5 minutes and the save interval just missed, the engine starts and things like that in that 5 minute period. So just bear that in mind. Okay. So as long as autosave is set, what basically happens is it will create a specific file for you. Let me drag this thing onto the screen. For the guys on Discord, let me change my window. And for the guys on here, display window. Right. So what will happen is in the output situations folder, the autosave creates the 00. So that's the one it made for the 700. That's the one it made for the Zibo mod. Okay. So that's 00. That is the file it saves on that interval that was set. So if you crash out, you should get, when you load back in, a big display here asking you, do you want to reload the autosave, yes or no? Alternatively, if it does not come up, you have this button, load the autosaved flight. All right, the moment you click that, it will read the 00 file, which is the autosave file. All right, you can see I've got a 01. So if we go in there, there's a 01. That's the file that I was looking at. Okay. Hello, Jerry. Right, so that is how that works. All right. UVP, are you still here? Are you around? Right, okay, have a look here. What we're going to do, I'm doing it now because of the limit of time. I don't want to rush too much when we are in the air, so I'm going to quickly show you this fixing story. Okay, I presume you went to have a look at the other video yet, but I owe you one, so I might as well show you. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to look at our flight plan. Then we're going to, and remember guys, I'm teaching you as an entry-level pilot. I'm not teaching you as a real-world pilot. The real-world pilots do it slightly differently, okay? When you very familiar with everything and you've got lots of experience, we can talk about doing it a little bit different, but I'll tell you all the reasons why I do this. So when we look at the ILS, okay, we're going to have a final approach fix. It looks like mudbug. That's turtle, mudbug. Nice, okay. So mudbug, the one with that Maltese cross, that is our final approach fix. We're going to use that one to set up our fix rings with, okay? The real pilots use the runway, okay, because they are pressed for time and they need to do things speedily and get out of the way, right? But for us, we want to reduce the workload on the novice pilot, and we're going to use the final approach fix. Okay, so we're going to look for mudbug. We're going to go to our legs page, and there's mudbug. You see, it's the final waypoint before the runway. So we're going to put that in the scratch pad, then we're going to go to fix. we're going to dump it into the fixing, right? Then what we're going to do is we're going to go /7, that's 7 nautical miles from Mudbug, 5 nautical miles, and 3 nautical miles, right? So if we go and look now, there you see. See, now we've got the rings. Okay, so the way we teach is this way. The first ring at 7 nautical miles is flaps 1. The second ring is flaps 5. The third ring is gear down, flaps 15. And in that space, before you reach that Mudbug waypoint, you can then go to flaps 30 or 40, whatever your landing configuration is, okay? The reason we want to do this is because of this. See this speed window on the MCP? While you are on the VNAV facility, that speed window is going to be closed. You cannot change it, and you don't have to change it. The aircraft will handle the speed for you. The moment you hit Mudbug, okay, you're going to dip the nose and the aircraft is going to latch on to the glide slope. The moment the glide slope diamond goes active there, oops, wait, you can't see that. The moment the nose dips, because it goes active round about there, okay, that speed window is going to open. So if you are not fast enough and you now have to worry about getting the flaps out, and you've got to, on top of everything you have to do now, worry about slowing down the aircraft, you know, it's a work overload for the novice pilots, okay? And that's why we teach on the final approach fix, because if you follow this recipe, you will be in full landing configuration, and the moment your glide slope comes in and the nose dips and that window opens up, it's going to be at VREF +5, exactly where you want it to be. So it's all about the automation taking some workload off you, stress off you and all. And that's it. That is the fixed ring story for this episode. Okay, you can obviously put in radials and you can do all kinds of funny things with this, but I think this is the most popular reason why anybody would use a fixed ring in a simulator, is just to basically get them in the right place. You're welcome. You are welcome. That's what we do. We teach when we can. Right, so I'm almost done, guys. Then we can go. And if you wondered what happened, it was the wife. She came to say hello. Sorry about that. $36,180. Right. Let's go back. I completely went off the page there. So we're looking at 149. Trim 6.
On the cockpit, the tow's driving up now.
Somebody the other day on one of the streams said, why do I always fly just the same liveries over and over? And there was a good reason for it, and then today I made a new reason. I just changed my livery. Hello, DC3.
All doors and hatches are closed. We're connecting now. Tows connected and bypass pins inserted. Release the brakes.
Yeah, I can use it, Daniel. Piotr, Zibo took that away at some point in time. Now, it's too new. I have not had the time to go test it, okay? It's not supposed to require the engines on anymore, okay? You should be able to get it to spool up the engines for you. But like I said, I've not tested it yet. It's too new again at this stage. Right.
Okay, push is commencing. Go ahead and start the engines.
Yes. Why is it not spooling? Oh. Dummy, dum. Forgot about it. Pax was on. Right, so I'm going to use primary mode and I'm going to have the ILS functionality in ARM mode, so you can use it on the other side.
Operations complete. Set the brakes. Stand by. We're disconnecting the tow now.
Jerry, I said hello to you a little bit earlier. Don't know how you missed that. Anything's possible. Or maybe I spoke too softly, but welcome. See, you greeted me twice now. Before I get in trouble, I better answer you. Right. Other way.
Toes disconnected and bypass pin removed. Signals on the right. We'll see you.
Righto. You've got the flap set. There's our pin. Let's go. Right, there's something I did not do. I never got the ILS information for runway 18 right. I didn't program that. It's not required, but it brings a little extra to the table. When we get to the old short, I'll quickly program that. Unless it's in there already. No, I need to set it. No, don't worry. Do not worry. I don't have my actual chart open because I've got the ILS chart open. There's the runway behind us. Oops. We'll just quickly turn around. Just quickly park here, do the setup and get the right charts again. Right, so for the ILS we want 1099. We've already got the course settings set up on both sides, radio set up on both sides. Dankie. Ja. Ja. Yes, yes, wife. Yes, wife. She just brought me ice cream. Yeah, guys, please remember the flight reload function. Sometimes you need to press it like 2 or 3 times to get the stability. Okay, it's dependent on your computer, it's dependent on your resources, it's dependent on how strong and how fast it is to be able to reload it. Okay, because you're asking this thing to reload a hell of a lot of information in a few seconds. Okay, so sometimes, unfortunately, you have to press it like 2 or 3 times just to make sure that it loads proper. Right, so let me see, where am I? I've got myself here, so weather. TARA. Right, so remember what we said, we're going to look at this noise abatement thing. Let's quickly go to the takeoff page 2 again. So we're going to look for 1,000 foot and 3,000 foot. So at 1,000 foot, we should spool back to 81.2, and currently it's set to 92.3. So it's going to drop like 9% there, plus minus. Okay, looks like about 10%. It's very close, you know what I mean. Right, so and then at 3,000 it should then restore power, and that should be noise abatement procedure 1. It could have overridden again. Yeah, you got to be careful. Remember, the aircraft will only do what you instruct it to do. Okay, it's not going to do anything else. So you've got to be really careful with settings and stuff, settings and timers and things.
On runway 18 right.
You can tell me what else I forgot in all the excitement of getting going. Icing. Looks like we're all set to go. Hello Mick, welcome.
1,000.
Look, there's the cutback. Look how that thing spools down, you see? Look, we lost it plus minus 10% there. Hello, 'Hello, 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 ' Right, so at approximately, well, at actually at 3,000 foot AGL, it should then restore itself. So that's our RA. Let's see. See, now it's going to start swelling up again soon. There we go. So it's gone up to 87 now. My VNAV, LNAV, I didn't press that. So obviously the moment I put the VNAV on, it immediately recognized it had to spool up. So it was a bit late, but that is, you know, just due to the buttons not being pressed. If you had it pressed, it would have done it sooner. The video seems to be stuttering a little bit. It's not the stream as well. Let me put it this way: it's not really the sim, it's the stream. I don't know, for some reason something must be eating some resources there, Opa. So I did notice the stream was jumping a little bit there. My signal strength, everything to Google seems okay, but it's something on the PC, it just jumped. Mick, you have to click on the beta box. You need to opt in for the beta release of X-Plane, then you can get the version 9, RC9. Ah, Teropa, I found what it is. It's STKP. My STKP just crashed. So that is what was hogging the resources. And it's gone now. So it should be fine now. Hello, Louise. No, it was STKP. Sorry, I just saw your comment there. It was something on my PC and STKP bombed out, so it must have been that. Because all of a sudden it feels like the handbrake was released.
Good afternoon, Captain.
Hello, Mac. Just FYI, I did speak to Dan about the STKP issues. There's two of them I logged with him that we had a discussion on. And one of the things he, interestingly enough, he just mentioned is that he needs to revisit the X-Plane plugin because he thinks, this is just his assumption at the time we were talking, that X-Plane laminar could have changed something because that plugin is rather old, you know. So he said he'll have to go back and check that, and it's probably that. I'm also just guessing with him now. Josh, it was a couple of days ago that we added the HUD. The developer of the HUD contacted me and asked me to ask Zibo if we can put it in, you know, because it was freely available standalone on the org. And so anyway, to make a long story short, I eventually got the two of them talking, and the next moment it was in. So it's a couple of days now. So how was your day, Mac?
Yeah, it's been very quiet. So we just about heading out, are we, or?
Yeah, just took off. We discussed a couple of nice to haves things from yesterday. You know, the checklist in the EFB with those little white arrows, things like that. Oh. When we are in cruise, remind me to show you guys the flight director helper. I forgot to show you that. Hello. But it might have more benefit, yeah. How's it, Matthias? Iwan WSP. All right, hello, Iwan. Let me show you guys this quick. I'm going to disconnect the autopilot. And I'm going to zoom in quickly. Look at the flight director and look at the change in color. See there? Now it's shouting at you, fly to me, fly to me. The same is going to go if we pitch up or down. The other one is now going to say, fly to me, fly to me. And the whole idea for you to get the autopilot to engage is you need to have that little square box, your aircraft nose, as close as possible to the center of the flight director. Okay, now if you have it on reality, I think it's got like a 3% or a 5% tolerance, and when you put the simply on, which is at now, it's much wider. I think it's like 25% or something. It's ridiculous. It's very wide. So then you can just enable your Command A again and everything should be fine. So I hope you like that, but I think that's a brilliant idea to have this thing blink and shout at you, you know, come fly to me.
Is that a realistic update? Or?
No, it was made for just for the beginner guys who were struggling. So it's an option in the EFB Mac. You just go enable or disable it. Yeah.
I'm impressed with the
we all are. Yeah, we all are. Ooh. Here we go again. What is my cruise altitude? 36. That's what happens when you talk way too much. You talk too much. Excellent, Frank. Send up the smoke signal. We'll do a barrel roll or something when we see it. John, the auto brake disconnects when we do the auto land with the HUD enabled. Okay, I do not know. Zibo did not tell me he fixed that. Let me ask him. Zibo, I don't know if you're watching, but let me send you a message. Was the auto brake and reversers didn't work, and what was the other thing? I can't even remember. Let's just make it those two. We can look again. And reversers does not work with that. Okay. Yes, Owen, I've got the Jar Design A330 that I fly with if I fly with any Airbus A300s. And I've also got the A340, but I don't, apart from the, is the default one A330? I don't even know. Yeah. Owen, I already told you, didn't you hear me? Did I speak to myself now? I don't know. Yeah, I don't fly Airbus that much. I've got like maybe 4 of them in my whole hangar. 5 if you count the default one. You know, it's just something I don't do. Not really. Every, twice a year maybe. No can do. When I'm done with this flight, it's off to go rest for me. It's been a long day. He says I forgot to tell him. He says he'll go check it and fix it, Mac.
Ah.
Mac, I'm just thinking, I might as well do an auto land in the stream and then he'll have another reference to look at because I've done 1 or 2 already.
Yes, that would be useful.
Yeah.
Well, not only that, but it shows if you're using the HUD, shows everybody how Autoland works with the HUD as well.
Yeah. Yeah, we're going to start setting it up now because this is not a long flight. We're going to have to pay attention shortly. Only one. It's a rather short flight. I lost my SDKP. I need to get my charts open again. Forgot about that. Right, so we have a temperature of 13 degrees. Three 001. Bruno, no, I just spoke to Zibo. He said he'll look into it. He has not fixed it yet. So we're going to do another auto land now to give him another reference to look at, you know, and then he's got a couple to analyze and fix from. Right, so frequencies. let's get back to our ILS. There's Cat 3. Ooh, believe it or not, it's also 1099, so we are fortunate. The VOR is obviously in need of a change. 1108. Might as well keep it in standby. So 1099, we're going to use runway 11 at New Orleans, which is Cat 3 capable. We are going to set up no minimums. There's no minimums for us when we do this. We want to descend to 2000. Ooh, hang on. Almost made a mistake. Damn it. We need to go to 36. We're not there yet. Yeah, nice, but let's go back there. And then what we said we want to do, UVP, you must remind me, please. We said we're not going to descend immediately. What we want to do is we want to just let it go past, and then we're going to chase after the glide path, our VNAV path. Bruno, I use the actuals from the aircraft from the FMC. So when I go to my progress page, I see I've got 2.6 tons of fuel estimate for landing. There's things a bit up and down, and then 4.5. So the difference between them obviously gets subtracted from the actual gross weight. Then I can calculate my speeds, and as you can see, there's a 2 knot difference between when you actually put the calculated gross weight in there, and that's how I get it. Antonio, I am. This is xEnviro. There's a nice clump of square clouds. Hello HD. At page 2 in Prague. It's from Andrew from Vertical Sim HD. The Memphis scenery is from whoever makes it for Orbex, but the KMSY and the Ontario I got yesterday from Andrew from Vertical Sim. We had a nice chat. We haven't spoken in such a while. It was so cool to speak to him again and hear how the family's doing, and his son's growing so fast, and it's awesome, man. It was nice to catch up with him again.
My right, I'm thinking we've already done the right left control.
Nope. So we're gonna go to IMC. Go to the runway length. The runway length is 3080. Enter the elevation is 41, I think. No, 4. It's 4 foot.
Elevation, what, 3,800?
Negative 4 foot. As in 1 meter and a few centimeters.
That's
yes.
Yeah.
Okay, so the length is 3,200 and elevation is 4 feet. Okay, so we'll just enter that. Let's look at the glide slope thing already. Ooh. That's an odd one. 2.8. Yeah, awesome. Yeah. Me and Andrew and the guys, some of the guys here go back long years, eh? Long years. We used to meet on Discord a lot, and I used to watch him make some of that scenery, man. It was magic in the old days. He's a good guy. I like his scenery. He was one of the first guys who opened my eyes to see what rubbish some of the other developers make. You know, when you look at quality and you compare quality, oh my goodness. Andrew was one of the pioneers, man. He just turned everything upside down when it came to quality for a long time. Anyway, okay, so we're not done yet. Let's put this on approach 3 arm. Alright, so that's IMC approach 3 arm. That will supposed to give us the rollout and all the other stories which we at this point in time actually know is not working, but we want to give Zibo something to look at, so that's why we're going to do it. Look at that grabbing. Yo, that's about 13 degrees grab. Let's have a look, see what this thing looks like. Look at that. Crazy. How's it, Alex? Welcome.
Yeah, you've got some crosswind up there, haven't you?
Oh yeah. Yeah, it's 110 knots.
Yeah. It's something that when you're flying in a real plane as a passenger, you don't appreciate what the aircraft's doing.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, some things we have to do ourselves, eh?
Out of interest, Nico, can you zoom in on the HUD for a minute?
Remember, we're now in the IMC display already. I think we can go back to primary for a while, you know, and just remember to put it back
I'm
to
quite
IMC.
happy what I wanted to show. Look at your flight director bit at the moment. See where it's on the left-hand side.
Totally
Notice how it's dashed because it's off limit. It's outside the limits of the HUD display, so
Gotcha.
it's parked.
Gotcha. That's nice. That's really nice.
Just taking the opportunity to show what it says.
Yeah, that's amazing.
Because if you look at what it's looking at there and heading, and then look at your actual heading direction.
Yeah, well, look at the ND, look at where it's at. I mean, that's supposed to be forward, and that's where the nose is pointing. That's 5, 10, that's like 15, 16, probably 16 or 17 degrees now. It's crazy. Make it 15, make it about 15. It's good enough.
So your tracking is 183, but if you look on the display of the HUD, it's parked at what?
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know, what do we read there? I don't know, so it's past 190. It's somewhere out of bounds, man.
Yeah, that's what it's getting at, yeah.
I don't know, Antonio. I just work here. You're going to have to ask Coffee. He's here in Discord. Just tag Coffee and ask him all those fancy questions. Remember, I'm not an Englishman, so if you speak in high language like that, I have to go to a dictionary to find out what you're asking me. Coffee. Yeah, his handle on Discord is Coffee T. Coffee_T, something like that. Stop off descent coming in. Everyone heading onwards.
What's this?
I am not the developer. Zibo, his name is Lubos. He's the developer. I just work here. We had a couple of guys helping him to make it better, so I'm one of those guys, but I'm not the actual developer. No, Josh, I must be honest, I haven't. Hello, Marius, goeienaand. Welcome, James. Yeah, unfortunately I can't keep the wing view the whole time, but I can do it for a minute or two every now and then. Here's my X-camera flyby. I love this flyby. It was just so nice. No, I don't have that one. James, I don't think a user can do that. We will have to ask the developer to do that. We discussed a couple of things, and one of the things that came up a couple of months ago was if they can put some more other background to the text, because if it goes into the clouds, you can't read it anyway, and you have to move it the whole time and all kinds of things. So we'll have to put forward some suggestions to him. See, if you look at your HGS now, even just that little bit of tint there, what you get with the dim plate, we can just get something like that to make the Linda stuff stand out a little bit. It would help. How's it, James? Other James this time. UVP, are you here? Right, okay. I want to tell you something before we get there now. So if you look at your speed, this is going to be very important, all right? So while you are in VNAV path and everything is going fine, it's not going to be a bother. The moment you go into VNAV common and we get into that parallel, I almost said universe, you know what I mean, the parallel profile to go down, what's going to be very important to note is it's going to tell you VNAV speed. Okay, so what it's going to try and do is it's going to try and keep the speed with a shallower kind of a descent so that it prevents a nosedive. Okay, we've got two options. We can either speed up or we can slow down. We don't want to turn the speed lower. What we rather do is we add the spoilers, the speed brake. We pull the speed brake lever. So if you pull the speed brake lever, and the reason we want to slow down rather than speed up is, look, we are very close to the barber pole. We don't want to go into the red, okay? We don't want to lose wings and things, right? So we first of all going to slow down until that gap is bigger. Then, I mean, if we still have to keep this speed brake pulled to increase the rate of descent, that's fair enough. We can then also increase the speed to create an even bigger dip, to chase that parallel VNAV path. So we're going to check when we get there, but my gut feeling says to me we're going to start by pulling the brake. Once we've got enough space between these 2 points, we can increase the speed if we really have to, if we haven't caught up with the VNAV path yet. Bruno, stick around, chat with us, The one thing you need to be careful of is, remember, at 10,000 foot you need to be below 250 knots, okay? So you've got to learn to get the balance of speed correct, because you don't really want to bust the speed, In the simulator it's one thing, but in the real world they're going to frown at you, So it's very important. Right, so frequencies, minimus we don't need. Courses, we're going to do in auto land. We've got IMC set. Approach 3 is armed. We've got our V-speeds. So far so good. I must have done something wrong. Oh, I didn't set it after the turn, that's why. Stuck there. Hello Magnus. Welcome. Bruno, there's a couple of reasons. Could be wind, it could be incorrect configuration, but wind is generally, the culprit. We had it last night in the level up aircraft where the wind was pushing, so a couple of things could happen. I'm not really sure because I didn't see what exactly happened your side. But in the EFB you can set your minimum speed. Okay. Let's forget about that for a while. You see now the MCP is telling us, or the FMC is telling us we need to MCP reset the altitude, okay? We're going to let it go past for a short while. And then we're going to let it start the descent, and then we're going to play catch up. There we go. So now technically we should be going down, but we are not. So we're just holding on a little bit. I don't want to hold on too long, but a couple of seconds should be fine. While we're waiting, let me quickly check. We said 2000. We need to go to 2000. There we go. So I'm pulling down to 2000. Alright, and now what you will see is, look, we're at 1700 and increasing. That's the difference between where we are and where we should be. Okay, so the first thing that we are going to do, and there's two ways of doing it. You can do it through the FMC, or you can just come here and press your altitude intervention button, and that should start your descent in VNAV for you. Okay, that button won't work if you're not in VNAV, by the way. Alright, so what's going to happen now is the aircraft is going to create a parallel VNAV path. Right, and as you can see, that space to the upper limit of where we can go with speed is very, very small. So I'm going to pull my speed brake. See, speed brake is pulled, and now we are increasing the rate of descent. Okay, so the aircraft should manage the speed reasonably well. Now see, it is increasing a little bit, but it shouldn't go too far. And then it should start lifting the nose to compensate. You see, it's kind of braking now. So there you go. See there, the nose is lifting a little bit. The descent rate is becoming less. Okay, because we are now in VNAV speed, so it's going to put priority on to try and keep the speed the same. So to try and keep the speed the same, and with the added speed brake that we have pulled, you'll see this will increase dramatically. It looks like it's kind of found its happy place now. Look at that, how it's decreasing. You see it, you can see we are now coming at our VNAV path. So you see it's reducing, and when it gets there, it's fine. Okay, see, now look at that gap between where our speed is and where the maximum speed is. See, if we wanted to increase that now, we could, but there's no point, because look, we're almost on our path, so there's no point in increasing it. But there are times, trust me, where you've got to do everything to try and catch up. It gets stressful. And then I would typically maybe add 10-15 knots, 10 to 15, 1-5. Increase it, keep the speed brake out, and then just make sure it catches up, man. Yeah. Now, as you come lower, the whole speed thing changes. There you go. You see, now we're coming on path, and we can pull the speed brake up, stow it, see, put away, and now we're on path. And that's how we caught up. As easy as that. Hey, welcome, UAB. So I've done a couple of things for you. I'm glad. I'm glad. Just realized to change this. I cheated. As if I did, eh? I was still in my mind at that airport. Now I'm not at that airport. 106. 106 is good. Same as mine. Yeah, I've also got the broken cables, Magnus. I didn't bother. I was thinking about opening it and doing it, and I just thought to myself, nah, I don't see myself doing that. Fortunately, Magnus, you can use the detent at the bottom. Now once you get this here and you push it through, that detenter, that's what I use for my reversers currently. It's a pest when you want to fly something like the Phoenix, because I love using those reversers with the Phoenix, but you know, now it's a little bit more difficult. Yeah, it's not just the design. Look, I can't prove this, so I have to be careful how I say it. But I actually suspect that they use copper-plated cables instead of actual copper cables, because a real copper cable, proper copper cable, shouldn't break so easy. It just shouldn't. Never mind the cable management. But I don't know. You probably past the point where you could actually look, but. I remember a couple of years ago, one of my mates brought in lots of cable from China, and we discovered that some of the drums was like fishing tackle, fish line, and they actually discovered it with silver or copper. It's the most horrific crap you could ever get. Yes, that guy lost a lot of money. You see, I don't know what's in there, maybe silver, whatever it is, it's weird cables. Alright, returning. Yeah, that's what I saw from the videos as well, eh? It might just, you know, prolong it by a few months if it was better cable, but the way it was designed, apparently, as you say, was a bit weird. Anyway, one of those things. Hopefully by the time I buy a new one, it will be another different batch and it will be a better quality thing. If I press Alt Intervent, it should override it, yes, but I have not pressed it, so it shouldn't do it. I mean, I pressed it at the top, but not close to it. So when we get closer to it, if I am typically between Voodoo and Turtle there, and if I press it, then it should bust it. But at this point in time, it didn't clear them at all. Yeah, Magnus, thanks. I just saw it. I did react there. Hello, George. You know, if you go to your descent page, all right, there is a descent now that appears under certain conditions. You can even press the descent now here in the FMC. You don't need to go and do that, you know. I did press it, but it won't clear it at that altitude because we're not close. It doesn't span that far, I've seen. Okay, so typically if we get closer, like I said, between Voodoo and wherever, yeah, Turtle, then typically it's going to clear them. But I mean, we were miles away, so I don't think it's going to reach that far if I press it. In fact, I pressed the button twice. So just to be honest about it, just to get the descent going. But I think you need to be a bit closer to do that. In other words, it's not a blanket for the rest of the legs page kind of a thing, eh? George, yeah, that is definitely an option as well, eh? Only difference is in South Africa, the Boeing yoke is double the price of the other one. Yeah, I mean, the guys are not joking when they charge you. Yeah, they ripping you. If you take the euro amount and you multiply it by 3, that's about what they charge us here. No, Euro takes enough notice. It does not. No. It's like it takes them case by case, you know. So if there's one in front of it and you press it, it cancels it. Then you have to press it again for the next one and for the next one. That's my perception. You know, if you want to go try it, you know, come back to me and say if you found it different. But that's my perception, what I found. If Sasso was here, he could tell us how the real baby works, but that's what I've seen in the Zibo one.
Sign has been switched off.
Yeah, I agree, Alex. If you're on a budget, there's nothing that compares to that thing, eh? I mean, that's just next level. You get the Cytec pedal, Cytec yoke, or Logitech nowadays. That's really good. My one worked for many years. I mean, I got rid of it like 4 years ago or 3 years ago. I can't even remember when I got my Alpha yoke. You know, it's 3 or 4 years ago, and I had it from the day it was launched. You know, it was just amazing for me. I didn't know any better. That also helps, you know. Now to go back to it is going to be difficult, I promise you. From Alpha going back there, that's going to be difficult. But while I was moving forward, it was okay. That's true, Magnus. That's also true. Right, UVP, you're watching. Right. I'm just checking. Let's get the story settled. Oh my goodness. It's not good, Frank. Right, so coming up to our little rings there. The first ring is flaps 1, second ring is flaps 5, third ring is going to be gear down flaps 15, and then we will settle flaps 30 before we get to the actual waypoint in the middle. Flaps 1. So you've got to be careful with this approach. Look where that anticipation cue is. If you are going to switch on approach right now, it's going to grab it, and then that speed window is going to open. So you must also bear that in mind. Don't click it too soon, too quick. Just pulling a little bit of a speed brake there. Help the aircraft slow down a little bit. Right, there's flaps 5. Yeah, I like my MCP that I got with this Bravo here at the top. It's really nice. I mean, that's how I set. There, I'm turning it now. See my heading. I'm turning my heading with.
1,000 to go.
Right, there's the next ring, so that's gear down. Flaps 15.
Radio altimeter.
Right, now as we get to flaps 15, I'm going to go flaps 30 now. So you'll see we will be fully configured before we reach the actual final approach fix, and the speed window never opened. And now we are happy to press the approach button, and then you'll see the moment that thing goes magenta and the nose dips, the moment that happens, the speed window will open. There you go. See? So that's why we teach this way. So we just take away some of the burden from the new guys. And I can arm my speed brake now. Thank you, man. Appreciate it. Magnus, did you see that wind shear? That's what I'm trying to explain to Andre. At 1,500 foot approximately, this was just a bit higher. Every single time I get this kick in the butt from xEnviro. Every single time. I must actually link him this video, show him. Every single time. Yeah, that'll be cool. I will. Right, okay, we did not look at the go-around altitude. Go-around altitude is 2,000 foot, so we have set that already. That was the approach altitude. So anyway, there we go. All right, and for now...
1,000 feet, stabilized, Mr. Bridge, altitude set.
There's the test. I just did it absolutely in time. There we go, land 3. So guys, remember we're going to do a auto land now for Zibo's benefit. How's it, Steve? If it's a true thing, yes, Frank, correct, but it's not true. It's a little glitch in xEnviro.
500.
George, nothing has changed in terms of the content, really. The rules are the same, the way it works is the same. But what you need to do is come join us here on one of these group flights, and then we'll get you into it, that's all. And if you need training, we'll organize training as well. Just come to Discord, come join us.
200. 100.
Right, so we're looking for the auto brake and the roll out to happen.
40,
So the
30, 20, 10.
let's see. There is the auto brake is just kicked out, and the reverses is actually working. It didn't work the other day. Twice before it failed. Oh, come on. Come on. I unfortunate
80 knots.
event there on the pedals, as you saw. So the autopilot kicks out, the auto brake kicks out, roll out does not work, and that's it. Zibo, over to you, sir. There we go. The reverses all of a sudden worked. I've had it twice fail on me, I don't know why, but anyway, could be me. Touchdown was sweet, yes, I think so too. It was really nice tonight. Welcome to New Orleans, guys. Yes. Got a bit excited there as well, eh? Abisal, I disagree. Look at this. You're going to be very upset now, but look at this. There's real pictures. Hey, look. See? Purple tint. And there's the green monster as well. That purple tint is there. It's the anti-glare. So, depends probably on model, it depends on the camera that was filming it, depends on a couple of things there. As far as I know, it's probably, if it's not polarized, it's going to be something similar. It's obviously done for the glare and for everything. I don't know if polarized would be the right word, but it could be. Thank you, John. Have a good one. Bye-bye. Right, well, I hope you guys enjoyed it. I hope it was fun enough and educational enough. Sorry about that. Do your best, Frank. Bye, Hero Texan.
Stream.
Yep. Thanks, Mac. I enjoyed it. Right, let's quickly set this GPU chocks. That's it, that's it, that's it. I don't know if this one is. If you want to check out my liveries, you need to go to x-plane.to and just search Skymatix. All my stuff that I share is on there, right? Yes, Magnus, I agree. Obviously, if it's not realistic, our pilots would mention it. So far they haven't, you know, so we'll leave it at that. Right, let's see. Ah, there it's coming. Well, the one thing that was removed was that big green blob that was sitting here. It was, you can see it's really made much smaller, so at least the reflection is better. Yeah. Anyway. Yeah. So there you go. We're done. Let's quickly file this thing for the VA so we get some brownie points. No, I'm not flying anymore, and I don't fly Airbus, promise you. That's the last thing I'm gonna stream. You can look at my channel, you can see the kind of stuff I do. Being part of the development team of this aircraft is enough. I don't need to go and learn how to fly an Airbus as well, eh? So, anyway, that's the end of that story. You guys must have a great day, evening, whatever. I'm gonna go rest and then sleep. You must have fun. Bye for now. Bye.
Bye. Bye. Okay.